Hey guys, it's Ronnie, and I'm still at Kumoricon, and right now I'm sitting next to a man that you've probably heard his voice, or a voice of his at some point in time in something.
Awesome.
If you play a video game lately, then you've probably heard it. And his name is Lucien Dodge. How you doing, man?
I'm great. I'm feeling really good today. Yesterday, if I'm being honest, it was a little sluggish. Maybe I'm coming off of the plane the night before and just trying to catch up. But yeah, feeling really great.
So you're enjoying the con so far?
Yeah, it's been great. Everyone's been super nice. It's always a pleasure to meet the people who watch the work that you do, because when you're working on it as a talent or whatever capacity director, you know that someone's watching this or playing it, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be getting made. But you don't really know how it's being taken. The reactions, live at least. You can go online or on Twitter and look up stuff, but that can also be dangerous because then you see the most polarizing. You see the people, this is awesome and this sucks. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. But it's been really great.
So I guess it's probably a general question that you get a lot, and I'm always curious myself. What made you decide to go into voice acting?
Honestly, it was anime. It was because of anime that I had the epiphany that voice acting existed, because I happened to recognize a voice in a show I was watching from a different show, and I put two and two together and realized, oh, because it's the same person, and now it's made that reality a reality that there's a flesh and blood person doing that character, recording it somewhere, and it never occurred to me, and I'm sure most people don't think about that when you're watching Bugs Bunny or whatever. No one's thinking, I wonder who the voice is. Not until you're maybe much older and you're thinking about that. So it never even occurred to me. So once I had that lightning bolt strike, it kind of became an obsession. It did become an obsession. And I had to find out everything there was to know about the craft and the business. And I started to sort of dabble myself and record my voice, and used to do little kind of skits and things and come up with character voices. And I really loved it. And it was, for me, I've been doing theater in school, going back to even kindergarten, I think. And as a very shy kid, it was a really interesting way for me to be emboldened, to be more of an extroverted person, because playing a character, for whatever reason, on stage was like this protective coat of armor. I didn't need to be, or I didn't feel as shy or vulnerable. So then, when I discovered voice acting in about my mid-teens or so, it was just a really cool extension of all the things I loved about acting for stage, and being able to disappear into a character and create a persona with your voice. There was just a lot of freedom to that. In certain ways that you might be confined or judged physically wasn't a factor as a voice talent. So from that point on, I said, well, I gotta do this. I really enjoy this. So this is what I want to do.
So how long have you been doing that?
It's been about 15, 16 years now.
Is there a difference? There was something I was actually curious about. I was thinking about it when I was speaking with Silverstein earlier. Is there a difference between doing the voice acting for like a video game compared to like an anime or something?
There's technical differences. For anime, you're typically going cue by cue, like line by line, and you're having to be very meticulous about the timing, and that it fits, and that you pause here, and then this part takes 2.2 seconds because that's when they stop moving their mouth. Whereas in video games, it's typically not that strict from a technical standpoint. Sometimes if you're doing a Japanese game, you have to match approximate length, like it has to be about as long, if not shorter, but as long as it's somewhere within that those parameters, then you're good. You're not having to copy every pause and elongation or whatever it would have to do with an anime. But with an anime, the animation's all done. So whatever you're seeing there and whatever the character's doing and how they've animated the mouth, you have to honor that. So it's just, it's a little trickier from a technical standpoint. But as far as the crab, like as you perform them, it's the same, honestly. I mean, there are genres within both. There's your more sort of gritty, very kind of sedate feeling anime, kind of like I equate it to like a Coen Brothers movie where it's just very kind of muted and soft. And then you have the wacky, SpongeBob SquarePants or whatever. All those types of styles still exist within anime and games. So it just depends on what is the feel, what is the style of this. And hopefully the director will help you sort of dial in what you need. But as far as, again, the acting craft is the same tool set pretty much. Maybe different brushes, if anything, but you're still painting with all the same colors.
Okay. Now, I'm assuming that after you've done an anime or done a video game, you watch them, right? Afterwards?
Sometimes. I mean, I will say, and I'm not going to say which, but I mean, I'm very thankful to be a busy artist. And so there's only so many hours in my day that I can devote to, if I couldn't watch or play everything I'm in. That's just the reality. So I will gravitate towards the stuff that I felt really I felt really impassioned about that, or I really think just the show in general was really cool, or I had a great experience working on it. But I mean, I do think it's important, even if it's not watching everything, I will tune in to something I've done just to kind of check in, just to be like, how did that come out? How did I do? Because I'm always critiquing what I've done and figuring out how it could be better, what's maybe within my control to improve, and which parts are, well, that's just how it's got to be, I suppose. I didn't have a whole lot of choice in the matter because you are one piece of the process. So you're collaborating with writers, the director, and sometimes they'll have a client from Japan or associated with the company who is producing the thing, and they have a certain criteria they want to meet. And so you're trying to please all these different people. But for me, I try not to think too much about that and just concentrate on doing the best job in that moment that I can do, and do it to get it so that I'm happy with it, which sometimes happens, sometimes fall short for whatever reasons.
So I guess a lead-up question or follow-up is, did you watch Gantz O?
No, I didn't watch Gantz O, and it's not because that's not, I just want to qualify, it's not because I was like, screw this thing. That was just the case of, I think I may have checked into my scene.
Because your character dies like the opening scene, doesn't it?
Yeah, spoiler.
Oh, sorry.
No, spoiler warning over here. I know, I was just like, I don't want to be too specific.
But I didn't
I was going to
really-
say, it's like, yeah, I know, I watched my scene because that's about all he has. Spoiler. So yeah, I think I watched that much, again, just to kind of check in. It's weird, I remember watching the original Gantz anime that, what was it, 80 Films? Did it? I forget at the point who was doing it at the time. It was a Texas, though, it was a Texas cast. So that was kind of interesting to slip into that role, having been familiar with it, knowing, this is going to be nuts. A crazy little, movie here based on the source material.
So I mean, from Gantz O to Sailor Moon to you did some
Phase
additional
Zero and Soul World, Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon. Did you bring Bleach too?
I was in Bleach,
Yes.
That was really interesting because I
You
got
did
to be
some voices in Soul Calibur 6, which just
I did, also. And I'm an OG Soul Calibur fan.
Yeah, me too.
I say this, I have to qualify. I hadn't played a Soul Calibur since 2, I think. So I'm a bit behind.
Okay.
But when 6 was announced, actually, we played the demo at E3, and I said, I think this will be the one to bring me back into the Soul Calibur franchise, because this is pretty fun. I think this is really good. So yeah, I'm all over the place.
So is there a particular character that you've done that is your favorite so far, or?
Lately I have to default to. I got to play Robin in a Batman.
Yes, you did in the Monster Mayhem, right?
Yeah. It was one of the Unlimited, but it was Mechs vs. Mutants.
Oh, Mechs vs. Mutants. Sorry,
yeah,
yes.
the Mayhem
you played
was.
Damien, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, come on, it's Robin. What an iconic role, and in an official Warner Brothers produced piece, and the cast is great. You got Roger Craig Smith as Batman, and Dana Snyder as Penguin. Just really great cast, and the voice director Wes Gleason was fantastic. I felt like just was able to coax some of the best work I've done in my career into that role. And the character itself, my thing, people ask me like, what kind of character would I like to play in this or that? What would be my favorite role that I would like to do?
Which one are you looking for? Which one? What's that one you just?
Yeah, well, I never have. There are characters that are already established, or already voiced that I have a liking to, like Zelgadis from the Slayers, or Kenshin from RONN Kenshin, because I really enjoyed those projects. But as far as one that hasn't been made yet, I don't have anything specific in mind. What I feel like the roles that I enjoy doing the most are the ones that get to have both dramatic and comedic moments. Okay. And they get to, so Damien and Robin in that got to be, kind of tormented and kind of dour, or, have his sort of somber moments. But then there are the parts where he gets to be, sassy with Batman, and crack a dry joke to him. So yeah, and then he gets to kick ass and have action scenes. So there was all sorts of stuff that I got to do in that role. So yeah, all that together, I'd have to say Robin is definitely a top contender.
Nice. So what, do you have anything coming out that we should know about, or you got a bunch of NDA agreements?
That's always the tricky thing. That's always, because for a while it would have been Soul Calibur, but that's out now. Valkyria Chronicles 4 is out, which I had a nice media role in that, which was very exciting because I'm a very big fan of the first Valkyria Chronicles game. Very big fan. So that was just a blast. But yeah, stuff that's coming out that I can talk about, I don't think so. I think it's always, unless they've announced it already. And maybe there's something that they have already announced.
It's always hard to keep. They should send you, I was telling Erica yesterday, I was like, they should just give you a list. Okay, so you can talk about it, no talk about it.
Yeah, if only, but yeah, rarely are we allotted that consideration. A lot of the time, even if they've announced the thing in advance, we're not even allowed to say we're involved in it. Even though I'm like, what's the harm? Like, even just to say we're in it, like, no, you can't, not until it's out. Like, we're not spoiling anything. So I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm in this game, as the character who kills everyone else except this one guy. Like, I'm not gonna do. But I guess they're maybe afraid, something like that. If they give you that much, what's it called? If they give you that much room, then you'll take the whole mile, whatever. The phrase is not good to me. That's what it is. Exactly. That's what they're afraid of. So people will spoil something, or they'll say something about their character, which I have seen actors who should know better. Be a little bit,
Seems to be a common thing I've noticed, especially with the Marvel actors.
I can't think of anything offhand. But I always update my website and social media presence with stuff, anything that's fit to print. So if you're ever curious, you're watching. You can go to my website, luciendodge.com, or @LucienDodge is my Twitter, and I have a Facebook fan page that's Lucien Dodge voice actor, I think. So sometimes I'm a little bit negligent, and actually I'm like, I need to set up like What was it, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? I had a recurring character in that. So I think I still have to put that up on a few resources and things like that. Yeah.
No, nothing you can tell us right now, so
Nothing.
you're gonna have to wait and follow him on social media. So
The mystery, the suspense.
But right now, we're gonna have to get some of our schoolwork done, because
Oh,
this is where,
hold
you
on.
know, we're, apparently we've
I
got
remember
homework to
these.
do. But otherwise, make sure that you
These
check.
aren't made for me, though. I'm a lefty. I don't know.
Oh,
This is
see,
like
that's not
awkward.
right. So yeah, guys, check out Lucien Dodge in about every friggin' anime and video game that's out there right now. Right now, most currently, Soul Calibur 6.
Number 6, Valkyria Chronicles 4.
Yeah, trust me, you've heard him. I want to thank you so much for speaking with me.
Thank you
and I
very
really
much.
appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Have a good one. See you guys later.
I know, they're so silly. They're so like.